Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. Welcome to Finish the Story. I am your host, Keegan Ray. I am joined here by my co-host, producer, and best friend, Mr. Trent Ludzak. Holy shit, if one of us has to do it. Yeah. Almost forgot to hit record, but yeah, we jumped in. We were talking about the camera angle last week. We're glad to be back at the table. Yeah. Camera angle was rough with the show. I thought about putting like a blur over my crotch.
You should have.
It was a real pain in the ass to keep it like moving because I started to do it and then I was like, dude, what am I doing?
When I think when I clip that, when I get to clipping that thing, I am going to definitely do that.
Dude, you need some Coltathalia clipping that thing.
Clipping that. Nah, but that makes us sound like a snake carrying cult. You know what I mean? Like that gives a flavor that I don't know if I like.
So you got to come to the house. I'm trying to get this set up a little bit more, slowly but surely, trying to get this set up.
I mean, it looks.
I need a place to go. Once I get an air conditioner out here, I think it's going to be nice.
I mean, Keegan, it even looks like it's a real room from the camera angle.
Exactly, it does. That's. I want to paint. I want to paint this wall like a gray. I think a little bit
gray.
Yeah, the white is kind of too much for me.
Yeah,
it's like I'm out here. The lights are crazy anyway. Because when you're not, it's great lighting for a podcast. I was like, this is awesome. But then when you're just chilling out here, you're like, this is pretty harshing the vibe.
Yeah, all you need is, dude, you just need a smart light. Set the color.
No, we're real white trash. We just have a cluster of Christmas lights that we plug in.
Oh, yeah.
Just a pile of them that you lay out at night.
They've migrated from the porch of the old place.
Yeah. Now we don't even stretch them out. We just leave them in a pile. You can't leave them on because Banjo chews them. Once I looked over one day, I was sitting out here and I was just chilling. And I heard this crunching and I looked over and he's just eating them. I'm like, dude, those are plugged in. The fuck is wrong with you? He got out of the house the other day.
Bro, he's powering up. He's powering up for murder.
He got out of the house, fucking asshole.
What did he do?
Well, first off, he's lightning fast, dude. It's crazy. When he just decides to go outside, you can try to have some sort of precaution, but he's getting out.
Yeah.
I mean, he just...
If he really puts his mind to it.
He just went out there and laid down. And then just waited on me. I came running outside and he just laid down. And I was like, all right, buddy. And I took him inside and got his leash and took him outside. I was like, that's a pretty,
intense way to let you know.
Yeah. I was like, but you know what? He didn't run off. So I was like, I should reward him. You know what I mean? I'm not going to punish him or yell at him. He didn't go anywhere. He just went outside like, dude, I want to come out here really bad.
It's nice.
Which I think he would be all right if I let him out and he was like an outside cat. But I would just rather do it not in this neighborhood.
Well, yeah, he's going to come back bloody sometimes.
Well, and it's also like this neighborhood, they ride dirt bikes and fucking tear it up down. You know, I feel like that would scare him and he would run off. Like if I had a little bit of land, I would let him out. Just let him harass lizards.
Keegan, he's a fucking cat.
I know.
He can run off. It doesn't matter how far.
I know.
That's like, this is a cat that if you drove him and just let him go 5 miles from here, in a year and a half, he'll just show back up, and he'll be like fat because he's been mooching off people, and he'll have a bunch of scars.
I saw a missing cat sign in the neighborhood the other day, and I'm like, that cat's gone.
That cat's gone. That cat didn't want to live with you anymore.
Yeah, he's out there living a Jungle Book life.
If your cat wants to live with you, you can have an outdoor cat.
Yeah.
It's the only ethical way to have a cat, honestly.
You got to let him outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most of the time. Dude, I want this bit to work so bad about squirrels. I told you this?
No.
I have a bit I want to work on. I'm just going to tell you this on the podcast because it does not work on stage.
Dude, that's the most excited I think I've ever seen you get about a bit. You're like, dude, I have a bit about squirrels that I'm trying
it's not really about squirrels.
Oh,
it's about, I think I have an idea for a cat food company. Because what your cat wants is not some fancy thing with a weird jelly on top of it.
Yeah.
What your cat wants is for you to let a squirrel loose in the house every day when you leave for work. And I think that's a service that I could provide.
That or just other cats throw up. They love that shit.
Ooh, nah, I'm not getting
gobble that up.
I'm not getting in that business. But
It's
squirrels, dude, the squirrel trade.
That's pretty Yeah, we just let a squirrel go in your house and it's demolished. You get to watch. It's like a rage room for a cat, dude.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what your cat wants. It wants to torture something for 7 hours and 59 minutes and then murder it right before you get home.
Yeah.
And then that's what it'll eat.
Banjo has tortured some lizards. He's never gotten anything that's a mammal, but he's definitely gotten some reptilian
Nothing
torture.
with a soul.
I don't know. It's pretty rough watching him torture lizards. Just because it's like, it's tough to watch the lizard squirm and try to get away, but it's also tough, like, how much he enjoys it. You're like, dude, that's what sticks with you, is how much he's, like, getting off to it. You're like, bro.
My family had a mini schnauzer that one time caught a mouse and just kept flipping it in the air.
Like a great white shark.
And, like, let it, like, run a little bit, and then it would flip it again. And I'm not kidding, like 10 minutes. And then eventually my dad felt bad for the mouse and just stomped it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to step in. You're like, enough is enough, dude. I watched a video the other day. It was so funny. It's the wedding photographer, and they're getting married, and it's like these beautiful mountains. They're right by the water, and then all of a sudden you just hear this, and like the dude's like saying his vows, and he gets done with his vows, and it's just this wedding photographer goes, "Oh my God!" and they pan over, and it's a grizzly mauling a baby moose calf.
Whoa!
And I'm talking about, dude. It's like it's across the water, and it is so violent, and they cut back to the bride, and she's just like, because it's very obviously a baby, and a giant grizzly just.
I mean,
shout out to the wedding photographer who got the vows. He got the end of the vows, and then he's like, I gotta see what's going on. It was on Nature's Metal. Shout out to Nature's Metal, dude.
I mean, that lady fought so hard to get wedding out in nature.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And she got the most in nature wedding maybe you could ever have.
That's it. That's nature right there. That's the nature you're trying to pretend like isn't happening.
The only way that nature gets more involved is if like a pack of wolves take the wedding photographer wild.
Yeah. Or if that was like the best man got mauled.
Yeah.
It's just everybody.
He's just drunk on the other side of the
river.
river.
Because that was another thing, too. I like when they panned over, I'm like, that is so close. I would be out.
How did nobody see the bear already?
I don't know. I think it was more everybody was just zoned in, and then it came tumbling down a hill, like to the water, and it was just loud and, yeah.
So it like came tumbling in mid-fight.
Yeah. Well, wasn't much of a fight. It was it was a grizzly biting a baby moose's head off.
It's more fun if you picture it like Peter Griffin and the chicken fighting, where like they just roll through different scenes. This was just one of the scenes that these two went through. Like sometimes the baby moose was beating the shit out of that grizzly, you know?
Yeah, that's what you would like to think.
Yeah, that's what you tell the kids that were at the wedding.
I mean it's tough. That's a tough. I mean, it's like if a hawk picks your fucking dog up and just takes it off. You know, you have to explain that to the children.
I mean, that happened to my sister's kitten in front of her.
That's insane. We saw a cat. This is how white trash we were when we were kids. We're all outside. I've never talked about this, dude. And we were outside at this kid's house. It's Joseph, and I remember his family was like super into Dukes of Hazzard, so redneck. And we were jumping on the trampoline.
Real racist.
And his neighbor, this cat came out, and we were like, oh, and we were. It was on the other side of the fence, and we were like trying to get the cat, like, pss, 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 pss.
Yeah,
dude, just bam, goes limp. The neighbor fucking shot it. And he's like, that thing's been coming around, spraying my house. Then Joseph's dad comes out, and this dude almost fist fights him because he's like, dude, you just discharged a firearm in a neighborhood with kids.
And at a thing that kids were trying to get close to.
I mean, we were just sitting on the trampoline, like, in total awe of, like, hey, kitty, kitty. And this dude just blasted it. I remember that was the first time I ever.
What did he shoot it with? Like something
like
big?
No, it was like
a 22 or something.
Yeah, it was like a little like 22, probably like a bolt action rifle. You know what I mean? Yeah. Probably like a step up from a BB gun, but as a kid,
his son's rifle probably.
Yeah, I used the children's rifle. I used a child's rifle. I mean, if you have a 22 rifle, you definitely have a pellet gun. You could have.
I mean, but a 22 is going to kill the cat. Like a pellet gun might not.
That flipped me out so bad as a kid. Because I remember that was the first time I'd ever seen something go from living to dead like that.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, like I was like, holy.
Like a switch.
And there was nobody there to like usher me into that experience. Now you just have two probably drunk dads fist fighting on the other side of a chain link fence because somebody shot a gun in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That guy had no ground to stand on.
No. Shooting, I mean.
If you're not drunk, what a crazy.
Wait, what town were you in?
This was in Grayson, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, that's fair game then. You're allowed to shoot in neighborhoods there.
We backed up to a park.
This is a Second Amendment
So my neighborhood
state.
backed up to a park. It was like Triple Mill Park. So there
That's
wasn't
where you're
any
supposed
houses.
to shoot.
Right. There was no houses behind us. It wasn't like another street over. But still. He's like, there's fucking kids on the trampoline, dude. Psst, 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 the cat. Now I got to go over there and talk about where your soul goes.
Man.
That's a big, like when you're, did you ever have a pet die as a young kid?
Yeah.
How young?
I don't even remember.
That's a tough one.
It was like an old dog.
Yeah.
So. But it was an old dog, but also a horrific accident, like a very sad accident.
Dude, Little John lived on a busy street. They lost like 3 or 4.
Dude, mine was, this dog was blind as fuck. And basically, we were all hanging out at this lake that none of the kids, we weren't at the lake. Basically, my dad was packing up. He's like, I'll get everything packed up in the truck, grab the dog, head back. Because the dog was just laying in the sun chilling.
Yeah.
Having a good dog day.
Yeah.
But blind as fuck. No idea where anybody or anything is.
It must feel awesome to be a blind dog and lay in the sun.
But my dad got up. Yeah, my dad got in the truck to back it up to put some stuff in it. And the dog, I think, heard the truck start and was like, oh, shit, they're going. I got to get over there. And just walked right under the tire.
Oh, that is horrific. To kill your own animal is rough.
In just like a real oopsie moment. Like a very like Mr. Magoo dad way to die for a dog.
Sucks.
Bro,
bad.
I had a cousin whose dog wanted to die. That was sad. It was
You're like, dude, I have a suicidal animal.
like it's hunting season and we're moving a tractor to get to hang the deer from. And this dog, as soon as the tractor turns on, just goes and lays under the tire.
Oh my God.
We're just like, yo, you gotta get your dog.
Yeah, your dog needs to talk to somebody.
And then later that night, I saw this dog try to kill itself like 3 times. And then later that night, it ran into the road.
And died? Mm-hmm. Succeeded. Damn, that was a tortured soul, bro.
Yeah.
That dog was a tortured soul.
Crazy.
I was in an Uber one time and he hit a dog.
That does suck, dude. Imagine if you had a pet and then it just got old and then it just became suicidal and now you have to try to stop. Yeah, it sucked for my cousin.
Yeah. You have to almost... putting a dog down sucks. The whole thing sucks.
I've never been there to do it.
I did. I had to hold my dog. I was in there with her. Yeah, dude. And they just leave you alone. There's like... All right, nobody, like, they just walk out of the room. You're just in there, and then they come back in, like, do you want paw prints? You're like, dude, get away from me. This is the saddest moment of my fucking life thus far. I don't give a shit what you do. Do I want dog ashes? No.
Dog ashes. I can get dog ashes if I want them, lady.
That's a crazy question right now. I'm saying goodbye to my best friend, dude.
Honestly, though, what a good response, though. I can get dog ashes.
Yeah, I'll get dog ashes.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I was in an Uber.
I don't need your connect.
That hit a dog one time.
Ooh.
Yeah. And did not stop and did not give a fuck.
Ooh.
And the only reason I remembered
sucks.
is because it came up on my Facebook memories. I was like, dude, 1 star. This guy blasted a fucking golden retriever.
And Facebook always will... present that memory to you as like
a fun slideshow.
Like, yeah, it's like, hey, remember that fun time when your Uber driver killed a dog?
It's got that Toy Story's theme song. Let me tell you about my bed. You're like, dude. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I freaked. I was like, dude, at least pull over. He's like, for what? It's dead. I was like, holy shit, dude. He was like, we were going so fast. It's like, all right, well, fair.
Did I ever tell you about when
smash it?
Did I ever tell you about when my dad domed a raccoon with his truck? Did I tell you this?
No.
Dude,
a raccoon.
A raccoon.
A raccoon.
Dude, I was like, it was nighttime. We were riding somewhere in the truck, kind of some dark, windy roads.
Yeah.
But this raccoon is walking across the road, and as soon as it sees the truck, it looks and it stands on its hind legs, and we both just heard the thud of its head hit the bumper.
Oh, it probably put its little hands out. No. Oh no!
I don't know, man. It stood up like this.
It had its little bandit mask on, like, whoa!
Nah, I think that guy
had its pillowcase full of goods.
Bro, I think that thing's head just turned into mist, dude.
Yeah, that sucks, man. Bro, raccoons will scare the fuck out of you though in the middle of the night. I don't like anything with little creepy hands like that.
Yeah, they feel shifty, and I don't trust.
I don't trust anything at night like that. You know what I mean? I'm not. It's 3 a.m. Like when I'm camping, nothing is getting. Nothing. If I'm walking out, dude, I used to have this possum that I would tell people, like, people would stay at my house and then they would be going out to their cars to grab something. I'd be like, dude, we have a possum. And you would hear people out in the driveway just like, Jesus Christ.
Possums are terrifying.
She was but they eat fleas and ticks. And so, but she lived behind my trash can. And dude, the first time I pulled the trash can out because you always look when you pull a trash can out, you're instinctively like, I hope nothing's behind here.
Yeah.
And then you pull it out, and it's just an ugly possum face.
Yeah, because they hiss, and they hiss terrifyingly.
They're ugly as sin, dude. They're fucking hideous. I remember being a kid there. They had one at the Yellow River Game Ranch, and they had it like a pet, and you could pet it, and that was how they taught kids that possums weren't bad.
Yeah, that you like want them around.
Mm-hmm.
That,
I remember being a kid being like, I would love to have a possum. My dad was like, yeah, fucking right, dude.
Yeah,
fuck that.
That's a good father move.
Yeah, you have to. I hope I don't have little bug kids. I don't want them to be afraid of bugs, but I don't need them like coming home with a snake in their purse or something.
Yeah, which one's gonna be the bug kid though? If it's gonna be one right now, can you put a pin on it?
Probably Emma, the one that's already standing and moving, dude. Father's Day, Emma stood up. She just sumo squatted. We've been trying to, so we figured out, which this is cheating, but we figured out if you put them in the yard, they don't like the feeling of grass on their legs. So they immediately
they want to stand.
They started like crab walking, like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, and then Emma just looked over and she was like sumo squatting, and then she just stood up. And she did it a couple of times, but you have to like clap and like act super excited. Because they probably can do it for a lot longer until they figure it out.
Oh yeah, and because then they got to figure out. Wait, I can move too.
Dude, I'm not ready. Because that's why I was like watching her stand, and I was really excited. It's Father's Day. I'm like, what a fucking gift on Father's Day, and then I'm like, I'm so fucked. I was watching my niece run around. She's like doing flips off the furniture and shit at my parents' house, and I was like, dude. She was telling us she wanted to go by Jenny. I'm like, what? She's like, my name is Jenny.
Hey, I did that when I was a kid.
Dude, they all do it. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, my nephew's like, she just likes to play pretend. I'm like, dude, I am so fucked. That's crazy talk. Like, I would be like, come over here, girlfriend. She's like, my name is Jenny. You're like, all right, dude. God damn. 2-year-olds are rough, bro. They're little dictators. Yeah. Like, telling me what to fucking do.
It's because you've been too nice to them now. You got to, leave them outside one night.
Separate them.
Twice a year, leave one of them outside and, alternate. So once a year, they spend, one night with the elements. Mm-hmm. You know? Then you can have, a summer baby and a winter baby. You can have, one super cold-resistant baby.
Yeah. I was
cool.
raised in the cold, molded by it.
Yeah. You could do that. You control these two babies. You can mold them into whatever you want.
I mean,
bro,
we could run some field
Sub-Zero,
experiments.
you know?
Yeah, we could run some field experiments, you know?
Yeah.
Nature versus nurture. How mad would you be if you found out your entire...
Is a grizzly bear eating a baby
your
moose.
entire childhood was just a fucking social experiment? How fucking furious would you be?
Aren't they all kind of little social experiments?
I think...
It's just you're the only person studying that one.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tougher because they're the same age. But, man, people don't give a fuck. Like, my friends that are parents, by their third kid, they don't give a fuck. You really, you really run out of fucks to give, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, just let them cry it out.
Yeah.
We put them in their own bedroom and in their own beds. And it's tough, dude. Because they don't sleep. They're like, it's getting to like, where this cannot continue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're like, dude, this can't.
They don't sleep still?
No, dude. I haven't slept through the night in 10 months. Like,
when do they start sleeping through the night?
I don't know.
Does anybody know?
We had a sweet spot for a little bit, but then it's like, dude, we're sleeping in like 2-hour increments. Somebody's waking up. Then it's like when you set an alarm and you have to go to work in the morning and then all you can think about is missing your alarm or waking up.
And
you're literally dreaming about them waking up. It's crazy, dude.
Ooh.
It's insane. I get it. When they're screaming in your face, I get it, dude. I would never, but I get just a little.
Not one shake?
Stop it! Why are you doing that?
There's no way one shake.
You're so tired, like, it's like hallucinating. You're just like, dude. And the whole house is a minefield.
Yeah.
So if you're not set up for success, dude, you're just stumbling through this house, just running into shit. You saw it. There's hurdles. It's crazy, dude. Yeah, I busted my ass over a baby gate the other night because I had on socks and hit the kitchen floor and just lost it.
I took a nap earlier.
Dude, I would fucking... I'm getting to the point...
I'm sorry, that was me. That was rude.
Yeah, that's really fucking rubbing my face. I've been getting to the point where I watch like true crime stuff and I'm like, hey... I mean, that guy did get to take a nap in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like,
get some family annihilation on.
Yeah, you're like, I bet Casey Anthony got a good 8 hours in the holding cell. I wonder when they do wake you up. They're like, dude, he's just been sleeping in there for 12 hours peacefully.
I don't think they care. But here's the thing.
Guy's sleeping like a baby.
Here's the thing. You'll catch up.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to family annihilate. That's the only way you're going to catch up. To catch up, you need like 4...
It's got to be Amityville Horror.
You need to sleep for like 18 hours straight, like 3-4 days in a row.
Dude, somebody at work said that. They were like, I can't operate without 8 hours of sleep. I was like, if I got 8 hours of sleep, that means my family's dead, dude. Like, my whole family died. Like, I would wake up in a panic.
Until you're like 60. No, that's the deal.
It almost feels like being hungover too. Like when I went to work the other day, I felt like I was like hungover. I was like, I haven't felt like this since I quit drinking. Like it's crazy, dude. We're so behind at work, and we're starting to get busy. And it's Sunday morning, and like my manager's kind of freaking out, you know. And he's like, he keeps being like, y'all are stressing me out. Like we came late. We were like 5-10 minutes late, both of us. I thought she was already gonna be there. I was like, no big deal. At least Savannah's there. And then as I'm pulling in, she's pulling in. I'm like, oh no, we can't both be late. And then it was just like, you get that vibe from where he's frazzled. You know what I mean? You're like, fuck, we are behind. So I was cutting fucking lines. Dude, I cut my middle finger so fucking bad.
Oh, don't show me that again, please.
Dude, I cut my finger. And all right, so I didn't even tell. All right, so the girl is sitting there cutting limes. And I just watch her slowly take her hand away. And I go, did you cut yourself? She's like, on my finger, but she like barely cut herself, and I was like, dude, that's why you gotta slow down. Just take
and then you just annihilate.
And then I took over the limes and fucking, I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
I went to the bathroom and was like, it's not that bad, and then I like took it away, and I was like, it is so bad. Oh my God, dude, it is so bad.
It's bad. And
I looked down, there's blood on the floor, and I was like, he was already bitching.
And also,
you thought we were behind.
Citrus, like limes, worst thing you could be cutting when you cut yourself.
Oh, dude, I wanted to just cut the rest of my finger off.
Yeah.
And I was in the bathroom, and I'm like, now we're very behind. Not only that, I had to go Dexter the fucking front bar because I'm sure there's blood all over the place. It was crazy. I haven't cut myself like that in a long time.
Yeah.
Where it just would not. I put my finger in Band-Aided it up and just put my finger in a finger condom and just let it bleed.
Do you remember when I busted my head open at my old job?
Yeah.
That shit was crazy. That was like in hindsight, it's wild that I didn't go to the hospital, but I understand the reason I didn't go because they would have shaved a big ass hole in my hair.
Yeah.
And then where do I go from there? And here's the thing. This isn't my first time with a head slice. I got other scars. I would look terrifying if I shaved my head, I bet. I would probably look very stupid and really scary because I have several crazy head scars.
Oh, my God, dude.
I wasn't the smartest kid. I did hit my head several times as a child.
Our kids are whacking their head, man.
Yeah.
They just don't catch themselves.
You just catch something sharp sometimes.
Dude, the other day, Ava just looks over and she just stops standing and just free falls into the table. I was like, what just happened, dude?
She's learning.
I mean, it was crazy. I was like, what just happened?
She's learning the hard way.
Just said, fuck that. It's got a little place. Christina had a place on her head where she fucking slammed into the car door. She says, we're too tired, dude. We're too tired.
Yeah.
I know. My family looks like I beat them. Everybody's showing up. We're looking rough. Everybody's got battle scars. What is happening to y'all? I remember one time I was at a festival in Atlanta. It was like an art festival. And I had all these cuts and these burns on my arm from cooking. And I was like, damn, this one burn is really bad. I was like, I should probably put something on this. I'm out here drinking at a festival. I don't want to get infected. So I walked up to the thing, and I'd had a couple of beers, and there's a lady at the first aid tent. I was like, yo, do you have anything that I can wrap this up? You know, I've been fucking, I got all these cuts on me, dude. I'm all cut up, and I'm not really thinking about it. And I look back up, and she's like, do you want to talk about something? I was like, oh, shit. I was like, no. I'm a cook. I mean, we can talk about how much I hate my job. I'll talk about that all day. I was like, sorry. No. I don't mean to burn myself or cut myself. Yeah. This is not.
That is, dude, people who cook are all fucked up.
It's inevitable. You're too busy and you're there too long. It's like you will eventually burn yourself.
And I cook probably 5-ish days a week. I burn myself at least, or I burn or cut myself at least once a week. Mm-hmm. My goal is to keep it minor.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it not a hospital visit.
Yeah.
Not an urgent care.
And you know my bar for a hospital visit is urgent.
Yeah. Dude, I thought I was going to have to leave. I was like, dude, he's talking about being behind. I'm about to have to fucking go sew my finger back on. It's like, damn.
Honestly, at that point, just take the rest of the piece off, and now you got a cool partial finger.
Yeah.
You have a perfect finger for cutting limes.
Dude, yeah, it sucked the rest of the day.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind that almost, like, it sucks the rest of the day, but the next few days are really...
Yeah, you really realize how much you use your middle finger. Like, how many things touch it.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Ava just grabbed it yesterday. I was like, ah! Like, she brought me down.
Yeah.
A baby could...
Thumb cuts are horrible for that reason, because you're like, oh, this is...
I tore my toenail. The corner of it a week ago. That was tough. It's crazy that how bad that hurts, and it's such a bitch thing. Like, you look at it, it's a very small wound.
But it hurts so much.
And it affects a large area. It's like your whole toe. Mm-hmm. Dude, this is crazy. That's why hiking is so, like, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and, like, you tear your fucking toenail off, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. You got, like, a 20-mile hike back. You're in trouble. That's why you have to be so careful when you're hiking.
I mean, you can do it. You're just going to...
It's going to suck.
You're going to gain a very close relationship with pain for a while.
Yeah. I'm always afraid of fucking stepping in a hole or something, like breaking my ankle.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you're hiking by yourself, It's like, thank God I ate these mushrooms. Now I'm just anxious as shit. Dude, one time we were hiking at Amicaloa Falls and we ate these mushrooms and they were like kicking in. And as I'm literally looking at the gravel being like, wow, I'm starting to really get some cool pattern changes. And this girl goes, oh my God. And she gives me the mom seatbelt across my chest. And dude, I just looked down and there was a copperhead and it was blending in with this dirt.
Oh,
and I just remember watching it slide away, and that was at the very beginning, and that is what, like, that moment of my trip started. That was what kind of kicked that in. So then the rest of the time I was just staring at my feet like I would have walked on top of this thing. That was the time I told you we saw the snake people and they were Norwegian, and we were like, snake back there, and the dude's like, okay, beautiful day. I'm like, holy shit, he has no idea what I just said.
Yeah.
You're like, damn. And it's like you're at Amicaloa Falls. You're like, that is the last fucking accident I expected to see up here.
Also, that's got to be a major way. Like, tourists have to die that way all the time.
All the time.
Just being somewhere and somebody's like, hey, man, it looks like the path is collapsing up there. Don't go on that bridge. And you're just like, cool, thanks, man.
Yeah.
That has to happen so much.
I was so scared of that when we went
like
snorkeling.
Worldwide?
When we went snorkeling and we were on that boat in Mexico, they were talking to each other in Spanish, and I kept being like, huh? Because it's like you wouldn't know. They could be talking like, the boat's going down, dude. We're about to take the dinghy out of here. Like,
we will get many pesos for these kidneys.
huh? What was he saying? Detour? What is that? I mean, because what a perfect scam that was, because as soon as you got done snorkeling, you're on a boat and they just took you to an island, but it was just open bar. Nobody fucking asked. They took us to an island and there's all these toys and stuff to play on, but like,
and you're like, oh, this is fun.
Nobody asked.
But it could have been very scary.
Could have been fucking a nightmare, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as you hear
very trusting, you know?
What other boat?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Or I was real worried, like the boat, we would just turn around, the boat would just leave. That would suck.
Just strand you out.
Yeah,
with an
stranded
open bar.
on a fucking like island that just has like trampolines, those ocean trampolines and like paddle boards. I'd be cool for 4 hours. Then it gets dark out there. Jesus.
The mosquitoes get out.
Just out there like Castaway, dude. Making love to a volleyball.
Knocking teeth out.
My God. The scariest movie to me was that one where those people get left scuba diving. You know which one I'm talking about?
Left scuba diving?
Uh-huh. They come up from scuba diving. I forget what it's called.
And the boat's gone?
And the boat's gone. It is a true story. And it was a dude and his wife. And they're just out there for a long time.
This is the worst Home Alone sequel I've ever seen.
Dude. And it's like you're out there. Could you imagine being out there with a fucking your spouse and fighting? Ooh, especially if you didn't want to do the excursion.
Lady,
could you imagine the I told you so if you didn't want to go snorkeling?
Praying for a shark?
Dude, as soon as you came up from the scuba and you took your thing out and the boat was gone, you'd be like, I fucking told you we shouldn't have done this.
And wait, did they survive?
I forgot. I think they fucking died.
Dude, I feel like...
That's a nightmare. But if you didn't want to go on that, the I told you so would be almost worth the shark bite. Just to look at them and be like, fuck. Are you happy?
Nah.
You glad we're out here in Aruba?
The thing that sucks about that is you have the stuff to survive for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like I would need to let the panic allow me to irrationally get that shit away from me. And then I can be like, all right, now we can try to make this end quickly.
Yeah, because you are right. There is enough. You have enough equipment to really survive on
really
some hopium.
Suffer for a while.
To have some hopium of, maybe somebody's coming.
Yeah. I'm like, I would probably very quickly start trying to just swim straight down as far as I can and see if I can make it far enough that I can't make it back.
That's a tough, that sucks. That's a tough place to kill yourself,
It's a hard place to do it. Yeah, there's not a lot of options.
Oh, dude, you're just getting sunburned. I mean, imagine the boredom.
Dude, imagine your head is the most sunburned you've ever seen, and the rest of you is nice and cool.
I've watched so many of these. I watched the Shouldn't Be Alive where these two kids were on the coast of South Carolina in a John boat, like fishing like a tiny little boat, and they got out to the ocean. And they were so far out, they were talking about that their skin was just burning. So they were getting out of the boat, and then there was sharks. So you're like, fuck. If I get in the water, I get bit by a shark. If I stay in the boat, I fry like an egg.
Dude.
That's so fucked up. And it's salt water, and you're dying of thirst, and all you see around you is water. You're just like, God damn it. The ocean is terrifying.
And I think salt water... salt water, I imagine after some amount of time, it starts just like breaking your skin down.
Yeah, it's got to.
I wonder how long that is.
Sucks. God damn, that would suck.
Is it one scuba tank worth?
I would be really scared of a storm, too. I don't know why that would just be.
A storm? I feel like a storm... I don't know. It would make it go quicker, but it would be real scary at the end.
I was terrified. When we went on that craze, I was terrified. Like the days that you're out to the ocean and all you see is the ocean, you're like, this is fucking crazy.
I have no desire to do it.
And it's like, it wasn't even that long ago that people were doing it on rickety ass boat. I mean, that's insane to me. I didn't like it. I am not an ocean dweller, dude.
No desire to do it.
I went on a bachelor party, and we jumped in this boat, and we're going to Defusky Island, and everybody on the boat was like Savannah people. They've grown up. They're like lived and grew up in Savannah. And I just remember being so scared but couldn't say anything because I didn't want to be a bitch on this boat. And I was like, this is insane, dude.
Bro, what happens on Defusky Island? Like it feels
a lot of golfing and people getting drunk as shit. It's an island that doesn't have cars. Everybody has golf carts. It's just houses.
Whoa.
And we went to this one bar that's called Marshside Mamas. Now there was a hurricane that fucked everything up, so I don't know if any of this stuff is still there. But there was a bar called Marshside Mamas on the water in Defusky. And you go there and it's a dive bar on the only people on the island.
Cigarette butts floating.
Dude. Band playing. It was awesome. I was like, this looks like something out of a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this looks like something, Ernest Hemingway would write about. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I remember being like, do you think they're going to care if we smoke weed? My friend was like, dude.
I don't think they would care if you smoked meth, honestly.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think anyone cares in this sentence.
Put a line on the bar and they will ask for some.
I was like, you're right. It was a place that we went on a bachelor party, and I remember everybody got so crazy that I was like, thank God they don't have a police department. But that's also, thank God they don't have a police department when you're driving your golf cart drunk as shit and you're having a good time shooting off fireworks.
Yeah.
But another friend of ours got off the boat and got bit by a water moccasin, and you're 45 minutes away from civilization.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was the beginning of his bachelor party. The first step off of the boat was a water moccasin.
That's crazy.
That sucks so bad. And you're the fucking groom to be. And you're just in a boat for fucking somebody's driving you 45 minutes to Charleston, I think it was.
And then you get the anti-venom and
You hope that the hospital has that anti-venom. I mean, that sucks. That's a bad boat ride. And you're in a shitty boat. Like,
and
it's
I bet
not like
that hurts. I bet venom hurts.
I'm sure. They say that if you get bit by like a rattlesnake, they're like, if you don't have somebody with you and you're through hiking by yourself, they're like, if you don't get somewhere in 30 minutes, you're going to be in so much pain, you're not going to be able to tell somebody what happened. You're just going to be like, ah!
Yeah, you're going to be a crazy person.
And I don't know because I think your leg swells up. I don't know if anybody's going to look at your leg and be like, oh, he must have gotten bit by a rattlesnake. Mm-hmm. Like, this dude's fucked up. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. Yeah, that's a bad way to start a bachelor party.
Man, the homeless in Arizona are really bad.
This dude's on Fent, bro. Just beating him with a golf club. Get away from me, motherfucker. That's where I told you there was gators. Then when we went on the golf course, there was all those gators. They said there was a 12-foot gator. I'm like, skip that hole.
Nope.
They don't even look real when you're driving by them because they just lay so still. And you're like, no, dude, there's dinosaurs.
They're crazy.
We're on an island in the ocean, dude. This is... Oh, like, maybe we shouldn't be playing golf here.
maybe this is the gator golf course. Let them have it.
We went and got range balls, so that way we could just if it went anywhere where like any grass or anything, you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm gonna play
anything over ankle deep. You're like, nah. How was the shed? Was the shed good?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
We did like a weird live podcast that I actually still haven't even listened to.
Yeah.
Because one of the mics, like we only had 2 mics, but we needed 3. And I got gifted a mic that was like, so it's like one of the podcast mics. But it's pretty tore up. But I plugged it in, and it read on the Zoom recorder.
Oh,
so we went for it. I don't know. It might sound like unlistenably bad. We'll see.
I like the idea of doing a podcast at a house party.
Yeah, at the back end after all the bands. We might start doing that from here on.
That's fun. Just doing a podcast and miss just like
the
end of a party.
Yeah.
People in like Elvis costume.
What the fuck happened to you tonight?
Yeah. Go ahead and sit down. Tell me what are you on?
Yeah.
Man on the street interviews, 3 a.m. at a house party. Why are you dressed like that? I had a dream. I got wasted the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan Lowe came by.
Really?
He actually came by like right at the back end.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So no stand-up, just music this time?
Yep. And we didn't schedule any stand-up at the end. I mean, I'm down to do it, but like I'd rather just play the vibe of the party. Because when you
I was about to say, it almost has to happen organically.
Bad,
yeah, when you force stand-up, it's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing at this coffee shop.
But if there's like 5 comics at this house party and people are like, I'd see some comedy. It's like, fucking sure, let's do comedy. We might as well.
I mean, I've seen it work. They used to do this one in Savannah that was super fun. But everybody there was really into it. You know what I mean? And it was but they had like a band. Dude, you want to talk about having to bring it? When a band plays you on stage, oof, Marone. A bomb is so bad after a band plays. The band's like, and you walk up there. Yeah, you walk up there like, dude, I remember this one kid came up to me and he was like, do you have a pen on you? And I was like, yeah, dude. And I had a wax pen. I didn't know that this comedian smoked. Turns out he didn't. He just wanted to get high.
Oh, so you just crushed it.
Oh, he crushed this pen, and it was a legit pen. It wasn't like a vape pen. It was like a wax out of the thing onto the nail, like. And he just took this milky, cloudy hit. And I was like, God damn. And then he started coughing. He's like, I don't ever smoke. And I was like, I am so sorry. And he goes, what does that mean? And they're like, up next, Brandon Townsend. He just went up there and he got the fucking deer in headlights where he just stood there and he's like, I remember being like, so no, dude, say something. And then being like, there's nothing to say. He's reaching into an empty closet.
He's reaching into an empty closet.
I've seen that look, dude. He's a completely blank piece of paper. Just silent panic where you're just like, oh no.
He went straight to nonverbal.
I'm like, everybody has a dab story, and his is happening live in front of our face. Oh, my God. Oh, it was bad. It was like I couldn't watch it. I had to walk away. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, no, I did that.
Yeah.
That's not great. It like shook me. I went up and like didn't do great. You know?
Yeah, because you're like, I can't do well.
I had survivor's guilt. I was like, this is... Why should I be having a good set?
Yeah.
It was tough. I've been there, though. I saw that look. I was like, I have fucking been there, my man. I'm sorry that you're doing it on stage. I just don't think a bomb like that, especially at a fun house party that you're supposed to, just stay at afterwards?
Yeah.
You have to leave.
You got to leave the party.
You have to.
For sure. I mean, I told you about the house party.
Or publicly kill yourself. That's
or be a house party legend.
Or like you immediately have to do something crazy. Just like, I'm going to do a 30-second keg stand. But But then you're walking a fine line because if you fucking bomb at that too,
yeah,
3 seconds you fall and hit your face on the keg. It's like, okay, who has a gun?
I feel like what's the best way? The best way out, I feel like, is to line up and do 6 shots immediately, and then just see if you can ride out the rest of the party.
Oh my God. I remember watching people do that in college. We had a friend that chugged Jack Daniels one time at a party. And I just remember watching him do it. And then it was just like, dude, who was that for? You know, like all these people cheer and then the crowd dissipates and he comes back over to your group and he just can't talk. You're like, what the
Yeah.
Now you're retarded. Like, now I have to take care of you. This sucks. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I did all my fast drinking in the Army. And then kind of like college, I did it a few times. But that's kind of where I really, in breweries, is where I learned that it's like, nah, you gotta milk it. You gotta
see. I got more
enjoy
into drinking at bar time, like at shitty dive bars. Is when I really. That's what I fell in love with. Yeah. Was a shitty dive bar at fucking happy hour.
Yeah.
Get me on the touch tunes, sitting in there with some old sad drunks. So when I get a little buzz going on, I can look over and go, well, I'm not that fucking guy.
Until you are.
Until you hit a certain age, you're like, oh, shit, I'm that fucking guy. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean,
That's really where I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Because in high school, I smoked so much more, so, like, I couldn't drink like that. Like, everybody on the football team would be, like, funneling beers. That was a big thing. And I was like, dude, it just makes me have to piss. I funneled 2 beers, and now I'm spinning because I smoked a blunt. Yeah. Like, this is... No, I'm nonverbal. I'm just...
I enjoy being drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And when you grow up, you realize that being hammered kind of sucks.
Yeah.
What's nice is having a little buzz. So I really mastered the stay in that buzz zone for hours.
That is mature. That's mature drinking.
That's brewery drink. I am working 14 hours today, and I'm going to be drinking 8 of them.
Mm-hmm. I used to love drinking at work, too. That was nice.
It's a good time.
It is a good time, and goddamn does it make the service industry a lot more tolerable.
You need the right job, though.
Yeah. Can't be like a pilot.
Let's be clear.
Like, I love drinking on the job. I'm a bus driver. I think this Uber driver's hammered. That happened a lot in Savannah. My buddies got pulled over. Their Uber got pulled over, and then she failed the field sobriety test. And they're like, what the fuck? That happens now. I was like, call another Uber.
Call a Lyft.
Right. It's like, damn, dude, just sitting in the Uber watching her get arrested. Like, fuck.
Do you record? I mean, you got to send something to Uber to be like, hey, I'm not paying for this.
For sure, yeah. Do I get a refund? Yeah. Here. I didn't even think about that, yeah.
They charge you for as much of the trip as far as you made it. They're like, I mean, you were only 4 blocks from home when it happened.
Jesus, I watched some self-driving videos. Waymos, you know what they haven't figured out yet? School buses. Oh, my God, dude. The videos of them plowing into these crash test dummy children is terrifying. They're like pulling these crash test dummies on like a rope, and they just don't even stop. They don't even slow down.
Oh, man.
Not registering buses at all.
I mean, but that's... Never mind. I can't say that. Not into a microphone.
I watched somebody go around a bus the other day.
I might say it on stage later, actually, but...
I saw somebody go around a bus in fucking 2025. I was like, bro, they have cameras on them. Like, you definitely just got a picture taken.
Oh, yeah.
You get enough...
You're going to get a big ticket in the mail.
Maybe a subpoena to court. I think they take your license away for that.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's like a reckless driving. Like, I think it's like a super speeder. I know that one time when I went in for a speeding ticket, the kid in front of me got a super speeder in a school zone passing a school bus, and the judge made this kid cry.
Yeah.
And I just remember being next and being like, Jesus Christ, dude.
But here...
I mean, yes, the kid...
That's correct.
Right.
Here's at the end of the day, that kid... that's like, you should probably not be allowed to try to drive again until you're like 35.
He drove a souped-up car, and the judge was giving him the whole thing about speed. But that never looks good when you're next, and you're like, this judge is murdering this kid in front of me.
But I think you don't, like, for that shit, you don't get to drive till you're 35.
Dude.
Like, you are off the road. You're
speeding in a school zone, passing a school bus.
You're going to learn respect for the bus.
Well, I mean, that's
when
probably...
you're riding the bus until you're 35.
You're like, and you know what? No one stops for the MARTA bus, bitch. Good luck. Got big windows, the city kitty in Savannah, so you can look out, have a nice moment while you listen to your headphones.
Try and turn up the music to drown out the two crackheads fighting in the seat behind you.
Have you ever seen Crash?
I don't remember.
It's that race tension movies, but I always think about where I think it was Ludacris or somebody was talking about the windows in the bus. He's like, you ever wonder why the bus windows are so big and so everybody can see your poor ass? I thought about that every time I rode the bus in Savannah. I was like, dude, I hate this.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Buses.
It sucks. It was always hot in Savannah. The fucking AC never worked. It was dirty as fuck. Never on time. That's another thing. Never on time. You're like, how you can't operate. They make it impossible. If you don't have a car, like, they truly make it impossible.
Yeah.
Because it's like people like take a bike in Savannah in the summertime. You're soaked everywhere you go. Yeah. You just show up sweaty and disgusting.
As soon as you look at your bike, you're like, oh, I'm sweating.
Dude, I remember as soon as you would get, first off, in Savannah, one of the things you gotta get used to is that water, that fucking hard water. You know what I'm talking about? It's got like that sulfur smell.
Yeah.
It's hard to take a shower when it smells like rotten eggs. Yeah. And you're like, dude, I'm supposed to go get it clean in this. As soon as you step out of your apartment, that humidity, you just start sweating. Feel every pore in your body open up.
Bro, the other day I got out of my car and I felt like I could feel the sweat appearing as my body got out of the car. Like, it started with the top of my head and I could feel it like a wave down my body.
Feels like stepping into somebody's mouth.
I hate how much that's like pretty spot on.
Dude, humidity is disgusting. Everybody looks crazy in it too. Yeah. Everybody just looks like when you watch people come into the brewery, everybody just looks so just crazy. Just like, what the fuck? Like disorientated. Like, what just happened? Yeah. It gets so hot in Savannah, you like roll your window down when you drive by somebody jogging. Like, are you cool? Are you sure? You all right, dude?
Why?
Are you running from something? I love when I see somebody and they're not necessarily in exercise clothes and they're running. And you're like, yeah. Give them the. Like, are you just autistic and don't know what workout clothes are, or are you sprinting from something?
It's hard to tell sometimes.
I mean,
that's part of why I don't run.
I mean, Savannah is like autism capital. You got the boats going by. You got the train tracks. You got the old buildings. I got a buddy that's like blows up his Instagram story, and he's very autistic, but he loves to like document everything. He's in a fucking playground in Savannah. Like, the boats every hour on the hour, dude. And he knows all about them, all about the ships, the numbers, the different, like what. I do like to know what the cargo is. That's fucking cool. When you're standing on the river and somebody knows what the ship is. It's only happened to me once. And they knew it was a car. And then you start looking at it. I'm like, how do you know that? And I look over and he's Googling it. And I was like, oh, I'm retarded.
Well, that's because you grew up or you were around Savannah. Like, when I was a kid, we would see, the big ships on, like, Lake Superior.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody knew what they were hauling. Coal.
Yeah. I forget that, dude, those aren't even lakes. You know what I mean? At that point.
They're fresh water, though. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. But when you have waves, you know what I mean?
When you have storms that swallow ships famously.
When you're swallowing Evan Fitzgerald, that is crazy. I mean, yeah. The first time I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's definitely an ocean.
Yeah. Have you been to Superior?
Mm-mm.
It's cold as fuck.
Really?
All the time.
All the time?
I mean, it's huge. How long does it have to warm up in the summer, you know?
So
how long does it take to get
what are we
that
talking
much
about?
water
How
warm?
cold is cold?
I mean, it's chilly. Like at the
Like
warmest,
a river?
At the warmest, it's chilly. Yeah. I jumped in like October once. That was
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Little polar plunge.
dumb kid shit, you know. Like, the lake. Let's
Did
go
you do it in
the
a
lake.
group?
It
Were
was
you
like
first
it was
in?
like my family. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you first in?
I was only in.
Oh yeah.
But those losers didn't get to swim that day. So
Yeah, everybody's like, nah, I'm good. I've only done it once. I jumped in a pool in like December, and I remember my whole body froze. I forgot how to swim as soon as I jumped in.
How long before doing that is called Joe Roganing?
I don't know. I know some hippies that call it Wim Hoffman. Let me go get my Hoffman on. Yeah, can you really do a polar plunge without filming it? You have to film it, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, Minnesota, that's a big thing. There's people always doing those in the winter.
I feel like they can do that for free. You just put out like a baby pool of water and you hop in that bitch.
Nah, they go cut chunks of ice out of the lake.
That's too intense, dude. That's crazy. Do you think that's good for you?
They do.
I don't know, man. I don't think I could do that.
I'd rather not.
Maybe if I could immediately go into like a sauna, but I don't think I would warm up.
I mean, you would, but it would suck.
It's like where it gets so cold, it's like cold down to your bones. You're like, God damn. I remember we used to, when we went skiing, we would stay at this place that had hot tubs. And then when you would there was a mad dash from the hot tubs back into the place, and people would come and fucking hide out and pelt you with snowballs.
Yeah, that's.
Where you're like, how long have you been out here?
But that's a fun game. Like I've done the hot tubs in the cold though are the best.
It's the best.
It's the best time to be in a hot tub.
It really is. I think that's what they're made for. That truly is. And you have a hat on. You shouldn't be in there long though.
I didn't have a hat on.
You have long hair. If you don't have
not when I was a kid. I mean, I haven't been in a cold hot tub or a hot tub in the cold since I was like a kid or a teenager.
The best thing is we grew up with this girl and her dad had a heated pool. Ooh. And one time it snowed and we went over there and it was like not like snowing like crazy, but it was like little flurries and we were in this heated pool.
I bet that was nice.
It was nice. It was so expensive probably.
Yeah, I bet that power bill was crazy.
Yeah, way later, I remember talking about that dude's house because he had this ridiculous house. My dad was like, yeah, he was a silent partner for the Gold Club.
For the what?
A famous strip club in Atlanta that closed down. He's like, yeah, that guy was shady as fuck. Guy was like a loan shark. He's like, that's why we didn't love you going over to his house.
You're like, oh, okay.
You're like, dude, he had black marble, everything. It was gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. But as a kid, you're just like, that's cool.
I remember being like, he has a monkey statue in the basement that's all marble. My dad's like, dude, quit fucking going over to the house.
Your dad's like, actually, that's a racist statue.
There's a reason. That's a character jerky.
Yeah, that's actually...
That's called a minstrel.
You should probably apologize to some people for that.
Please don't take a picture with it. Jesus.
It's actually a giant lawn jockey.
Oh, dude, imagine. I see this picture of this girl all the time. I still get on Facebook because it's so fun to check in with the crazy people I went to high school with, you know? Because now they're booming out. You know, they've had kids so young, they're in their boomer phase.
Yeah.
But this one chick is so religious, and she's so judgmental and so MAGA. But her and her boyfriend showed up in blackface one time to this house party. And this was in 2005. And I remember they walked in, and it was like a movie, like record scratch. Everybody was like, yikes. Dude, like, I remember being like.
Hold up. So, like being Shaq blackface or let's do the racist version of
racist caricatures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like they weren't even famous black people. They were just black people. It was like, what is happening? To the point to where I think they thought
What's your Halloween costume? Black people.
I remember everybody was just like, one girl walked up and took a picture and was just like, and I think all the time when I'm reading her fucking statuses, I wish I had that picture just to comment.
I realized how not crazy that is since Native American war chief is one.
I mean, dude, we were the Chiefs. That was my high school mascot. Was an Indian guy.
Oh, so you have made some sounds that you're not allowed to.
No, we never did. No, by the time we got there, I guess it had already been addressed. There was no fucking. Yeah, we stayed away from that. We had a kid in the band that wrote us a song. Like, he was really fucking good. And he wrote a song, and that was like our fight song.
Like a love song?
No, he wrote a ballad. He's like standing on like a fucking platform with just like a spotlight.
Playing a tuba. Oh, that's
He's like one of those conductors with an electric guitar. He's got the flying V guitar. The Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He's like, dude, can we please run through the banner? He's on minute 5 of a solo. Just
he's like, it's like the Blue Man Group.
He's selling it.
We're red and we play guitars.
I'll be up there in a chief Indian headdress.
I will embody the chief.
I will embody the spirit of the Chiefs.
Where do you stand on getting like a real replica tomahawk? Like, am I going to be allowed to conduct with that?
Where should I enter with the horse? Dude.
The horse, by the way, will shit on the field, so you should prepare for that.
I told you, I went to Grayson High School. They had a ram that was just out there shitting on the fucking, it was shitting in the end zone. It was like, dude, who was this for? There's not one person in the crowd that's like, there's our battle ram. Everybody's like, dude, that thing's shitting and fucking a goat. Like, get it out of here.
It's actually just kind of mean.
It was mean, disgusting, and horny, dude. Like, that thing was a problem waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And it was some high school kid holding it on a leash. You're like, dude, we're like one incident away from just being on the news. Just this thing rampaging. Imagine a high school kid gets paralyzed from the mascot. This thing just stomps a cheerleader.
That would be a big problem.
It just decides to have its way with a cheerleader. Everybody's like, oh my God.
My town got made fun of on
Shoot
Conan.
It. Shoot. Ah.
Jurassic Park.
Somebody comes out and puts the ram down. It's on top of a cheerleader. The school police officer just runs out and shoots it in the back of the head in front of 10,000 people. The band's just
yeah. The guy comes out and starts playing a ballad.
You're running through the banner and there's just a dead ram. Jesus.
Hey, make sure you jump when you go through the banner because you got to make it over the ramp.
Yeah, some girl's like, worst homecoming ever. Just the sight of a ram mauling a fucking cheerleader. Shoot her. I mean, dude, he got so aggressive. I've said this on the podcast, but they brought a female thing out to tease him with pussy. And they would keep her away from him just a little bit. So
to make him madder?
Nah, just so he was like, that would calm him down because he could see the pussy. Dude, if he was just out there by himself, he got all fucking like territorial. You know what I mean? He'd start bucking on. I mean, dude, you literally had, I'm not making this up. It was like a high school kid with like a leash and a full-grown ram with watermelon-sized balls swinging and shitting in the fucking end zone. Every time, because I was in 9th grade, so we would dress out, but we weren't playing. So you're just sitting there watching this thing like, what is this for? Who is this for? We're 3-7.
It's for fun, guys.
We're 3-7. This fucking farm animal, just take it home, dude. We're getting beat 32-7.
But you know what? It really saves on the cost of paying a mentally challenged guy to mow the field.
Yeah, dude. Football. High school football is crazy.
Yeah.
I'd never want to be one of those parents that dude, we used to have people that would like fist fight at Pee-wee ball games.
Dude, I was talking to Sham last night, and it never dawned on me how much, like, Sham, his kid is 4. Like, Sham is right about to enter his
coach dad phase. Oh, yeah.
And Sham is going to be a problem.
A couple of drinks. Yeah.
Dude, Sham is going to get ejected from a record number of Little League games.
Dude, I saw a dad get arrested for hitting his son on the football field.
Dude, I bet Sham charges the mound when coach pitch comes in.
He will absolutely get thrown. He will get in an argument with an umpire for sure. Yeah. That's how my dad and Little John's dad met, was arguing over a home run. over the logistics of a home run. They almost fist fought. That's how they met. That's how.
It is funny looking back.
We were fine.
When you think about it, like, Little League baseball is really more for dads.
It's crazy.
It's how dads, now that, like, your kids can go out, it's how you make your friends.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that you're arguing the legitimacy of a home run. They're 5 years old. Who gives a fuck?
Let's be real. It wasn't a homer. He's 5.
I get it, though. When somebody's blatantly lying to you,
yeah,
and people do get a little snippy out there. Somebody starts calling your kid fucking retarded. You're in the stands. You had a couple of beers. You're like, hey, shut it down.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely going to be a problem for sure.
What sports do you think the girls are going to get, if any?
What do I hope? I hope softball for sure.
What do you want?
I want softball for sure because that'd be cool. Softball's fun. They do the chants. They do all that stuff. You know what I don't want? I don't want dance and ballerina. You know why? And it's not because I don't want to watch ballet. It's because ballet is all fucking day. It's like cheerleading.
Oh, it's like
it's all day. It's like
wrestling.
Wrestling. It's an all day affair. You're there for the whole day. Little John said he saw him and he was like, they do the same dance. Like,
holy shit, dude! Just watching 15 children butcher the same dance over and over again.
Well, you hope they're good, because God, if they're not good, honey, we gotta find something else.
You're lucky figure skating isn't really a thing here.
Jesus, nah. I hope it's nothing. And then if it's gymnastics, you got to be there all the time.
Well, gymnastics is like...
Now you got to be there at every practice.
Gymnastics, I feel like, is like football, where it's like, if you really want your kid to be good at this, we're talking about altering the growth of your child for this.
They love flipping, though.
I mean, everybody likes flipping.
I'm hoping we can just get that out of their system, like a trampoline day. Trampoline park sounds fun.
Trampoline park, I mean, you'll have a lot of fun there, I bet.
My buddy's daughter, she's 7. She just got into jiu-jitsu. Little kid jiu-jitsu. Which seems fucking crazy. Just watching like 7-year-old kids choke each other out.
Could a 7-year-old break another 7-year-old's arm, like with leverage, you think?
Oh, yeah, I think so. For sure, I think so. At 7, their arms are breaking all the time, I feel like. Little chicken wings. Yeah. Yeah, that would be savage, though. That's definitely going to do some long-term trauma if you get your arm snapped in jiu-jitsu class.
Ugh.
You would hope your kid would be the one snapping arms. But then you got to have a conversation like, hey.
You're going to be like, hey, man, don't be snapping arms.
You would hate to, like, let your kid do jiu-jitsu and then they just go to school and some teacher pulls you aside and is like, your child is a Genghis Khan bully.
Yeah, your child is
a problem. Your child is Mike Tyson in his prime.
It is funny to think, though, like, if that's the way it goes, we're like, okay, everybody's doing jiu-jitsu. That's like the thing. And the bullies are now jiu-jitsu bullies. That is the funniest kind of bully because it's like, I mean, he's a bully, but he just always takes it to the ground, you know?
Dude, I had that bully. My brother was a wrestler. My older brother was a wrestler. That was a jiu-jitsu bully.
Yeah.
And heaven forbid he have a hard day of practice, dude. He would just come home and I'd be like, I don't even like the way you're looking at me, dude. I'd be playing video games like.
I learned how to suplex today.
Dude. Yeah, if he said anything about learning anything, I was like, dude, get the fuck away from me. And our parents were gone for long stints of time. You look over, you're like, I don't know if I can hold him off for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour and a half, but this door is only going to last so long. This is going
to happen eventually.
Every door in the house had that little, like, that lock that could get picked. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Dude. I remember those.
It was like watching a raptor try the door handle. You just on the other side, like, stop, dude. Mom's going to be home soon, please. Just knowing if he gets in, he's going to beat your ass. Mm-hmm. Dude, my brother threw me through a wall one time. And then we both got freaked out because he, like, threw me and I hit through, like, the drywall. And then we both were like, because I was like, that fucking hurt. And then I looked at him like, we're both fucked when Mom gets home.
Oh, yeah.
It was so bad. Which is, honestly, it's not that big of a deal. It's a pretty easy fix. But, fuck, man. It's like breaking a window when you're a kid. At that time, it is such a big deal.
A window's expensive, though.
Yeah. But, I mean, you know. If you're letting your kids go outside with a baseball and a bat, you know, it's coming. It's coming. That's why I'm glad we don't have two boys.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, girls, I think it's more of an emotional, like, mental torture. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of,
boys are war criming.
For sure. I mean, you could have a little Jeffrey Dahmer out there, like, torturing animals. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and find, like, a secret treasure chest of dead rabbits. You're like, oh, my God. What are we going to do?
Little human banjo.
See the cat get shot, and he's like, yes. I didn't like the way that you got into that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yup. Well, on that dark note, I got to
we did it.
Start packing up.
We did it. You got anything to promote?
Well, not the thing I'm doing tonight, obviously. Do I have anything? Oh, if you're in Indianapolis, I'm at Black Circle on Sunday the 29th.
Nice.
Black Circle the 29th. Looking forward to that.
Word.
That's all I got right now.
That's it. Oh, I'm ordering some colors for the shirts, and I'm going to fuck around and start messing around with some more tie-dye and stuff. So.
Oh, I did miss one more thing. Cult of Thalia is taking a break for a little bit. I've gotten to the point where I'm basically South Park producing it for the last month, where it's like the clips that are going into the show are from podcasts that I have not recorded yet on the day that I released the last one I had.
That's crazy.
But I kept it like that for like a month. I was doing that. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going on vacation. I'm going for the family reunion.
Which I am so happy you're doing that. It's going to be awesome.
Taking a break until then, and then when I get back, I'm going to come back and I'm going to try and have 2 or 3 episodes ready to go.
Nice.
So, that's it. I just wanted to make a little announcement.
And hey, that clip hit over 500,000, so that's awesome. Everybody that's been sharing it, still going up. Still fucking going up. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So, thank y'all. Later.